Welcome, and thank you for watching this ACT version 20 demonstration brought to you by Keystroke. With ACT, it's easy to manage everything in your business and everything related to your contacts and calendar. Create a holistic view of all relationship interactions and benefit from insightful lookbacks at consolidated history of your system and everyone you do business with. Take the guesswork out of knowledge where to prioritize your time based on data-driven customer intelligence, and quickly perform actions en masse to free up your time. This presentation will last just over 45 minutes. I'll take just a few minutes to give you a little background on who Keystroke is. Then I'll discuss why you should choose ACT to help grow your business. And I'll explain some of the services that Keystroke can provide to help you with a successful ACT implementation. I'll also jump into the ACT product live to show you some of the new features that you'll get with version 20 of ACT, and I'll show you a lot of the main features that our customers use to manage their businesses on a day-to-day basis. Now, just by way of introduction, I'm Greg Davis. I'm a certified ACT fanatic. I've been on the ACT team for over 12 years, many of them at the manufacturer of ACT, and I've held roles in ACT sales, sales engineering, distribution sales, and I currently work on the Keystroke tech support team. I've worked with thousands of customers just like you. We want to listen and learn more about your business challenges, needs, and goals. And I want to show you how the ACT customer and contact management software can increase your productivity, grow your sales revenue, and free up your time so that you can work smarter, not harder. So who is Keystroke? Well, Keystroke is the exclusive distributor in Canada and the exclusive distributor of the French version of ACT in North America. Keystroke was founded in 1994 and is the #1 reseller of ACT in the world, delivering fruitful CRM solutions, providing superior sales, tech support, and unique ACT services. About 50% of our sales are based in the US. Also, Keystroke's unique suite of ACT for Work add-ons for ACT can extend the power of ACT and the possibilities of what ACT can do for you. Just to name a few: ACT for Outlook, a better way to integrate ACT and Outlook; Handheld Contact, the premier mobile app for ACT; Quoting for ACT, Telephony for ACT, and Mapper for ACT, as well as industry solutions like ACT for Wealth, ACT for Support, and ACT for Mortgages. Keystroke is also the exclusive ACT hosting provider for Canada. So why ACT? Why would you want to choose ACT? Well, there's a lot of reasons why you may want to choose ACT. So better interactions lead to more transactions. We believe that the next generation of software works for you, harmoniously fusing marketing and selling to convert interactions into raw revenue. ACT is adaptable and easily customized to fit your industry and unique business data and needs. ACT goes where you go, so you can be productive from wherever you are. At work, online, offline, at home, in the office, everywhere. ACT keeps you connected to popular business apps that you already use that can extend the power and the reach of your business. ACT is your solution. So think of ACT as your business command center, giving you control to quickly tap into all relationship details, seamlessly interact with social and productivity tools that you rely on every day, and leverage integrated e-marketing services that take the guesswork out of when, where, and how to engage with a prospect or a customer, all right from within ACT. Not only is ACT simple to use, but it's also the trusted solution for business owners across the world. ACT keeps up with new and emerging technology, allowing your contact database to be more stable, efficient, and more robust to help you keep your contacts and business on track. ACT is the #1 contact manager, leading the way since 1987. ACT created this industry with this product and has more than 30 years of feedback from its customers on how to make it easy to use. No one else in the industry can say that. So 3 simple reasons, 1 easy choice. Get it together. More time, better relationships, higher success. ACT keeps all of your prospect and customer details in one organized place at the office and on popular mobile devices. Marketing equals selling. take the guesswork out of marketing and convert more sales. Integrated e-marketing services guide you to reach the right customers with the right message at the right time. And still the one. ACT is still the #1 contacting customer manager for over 30 years now. Use it to drive results and create customers for life. So here are some of the new features that you're going to get with this newest version 20 of ACT. It's got a fresh new look. The ACT e-marketing interface is now built directly into ACT. In the past, you had to browse out to a website to build your e-marketing templates and send campaigns. Now this is all built right inside of ACT, making it easier to use and keeping it all in one place. Also, there's a new dashboard, Insights, visual insights into business sales and productivity. And Ask Alexa integration skill can now be included with ACT. So if you have an Alexa device or an Echo device, you can now use that to ask ACT questions, look up contacts, create activities and notes in ACT, all with your voice. Also, Chrome for Mac is now supported. This is for people that use ACT in the cloud and have Apple computers. All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into the product, take a live look at ACT and many of the features customers use to efficiently manage their businesses on a day-to-day basis. Okay, so this is the contact screen in ACT. This is really the main screen that our customers live in every day. There's a lot of other screens which I'll get into, but this is really the main one, so I want to start here. So we try to keep things simple. We try to keep everything in one place, unlike a lot of other systems out there. So this contact screen here is broken out into a couple different parts. The top half, these are all your basic fields about the contact you're looking at. We're looking at Eric Johnson's contact record here. So the top half contains all just basic fields about Eric Johnson, phone number, email address, what type of customer this is, just a lot of other helpful information up here. And then the bottom half is broken out into tabs that holds additional information about Eric Johnson. So really everything you need to know about Eric can be found right here on this page, either in the top half of the screen or in the bottom half of the screen. Now all of this information is easily customizable. This screen can completely be changed around to fit your industry, add your own custom fields into this screen, logos, fonts, colors. You can even add additional tabs that holds additional data about Eric Johnson. Creating these, designing these layouts, I should say, is a very simple process. There's a very simple to use drag and drop interface right here that allows you to move stuff around, add new fields into this, and just design this however you want. Now Keystroke does provide services that can help you design this screen to your liking if you like. As you can see, it's a simple to use drag and drop interface. I'm just going to get out of here. I'm not going to save any of that. Alright, so I want to talk about these tabs that you see down here and some of the data you're going to find in these tabs. So this is the Notes tab, obviously just a place to put in some free-form notes. Now when data is being entered into these tabs, it gets automatically date and time stamped, as you can see here, with the contents of the data here, in this case in the note, and then also the record manager. The record manager is the person on your team who actually entered that note. So if you're on a team of people sharing common databases together, everyone's got their own login name and everything is tracked under their specific name. So you can always look back and see who else has added notes and just kind of get a holistic look back on everything that's happened here on this tab. Adding a note is as simple as clicking a button and typing in a note. The History tab. This is very important. This is probably the most important tab you're going to use in ACT. So most of the data that gets entered into this History tab gets automatically entered by ACT because you performed some kind of action. A lot of stuff automatically goes in here. So a lot of people like to do their reporting off of this History tab, and I'll get into some reports a little bit later. But as a matter of fact, all of this stuff gets automatically tracked in here. Activities that you're completing or clearing move into History. Attached files and email marketing and opportunity changes system changes, just a lot of things get automatically tracked here in ACT because you performed some kind of action. This was a field change that was made. So this person was in the database at this time and date, and they made a change to a field, and it tells you what they changed it from and to. So you can always track field changes as well. This was an activity that was completed off of the calendar. So I had an activity pop up for me reminding me I had to call Eric for some reason. I went ahead and completed that, typed in what Eric and I talked about, and then that cleared that item off of the calendar and moved that data into history just like this, with all of the data intact. This was another activity that was cleared. It was a meeting activity. So this was an email that was sent. I want to spend a couple minutes on this. This is very important to a lot of people. ACT does integrate with Outlook, and that integration does a couple things. Number one, it allows you to synchronize contacts from ACT to Outlook. It allows you to synchronize your calendar. And then thirdly is the ability to have your emails automatically attach here on this record. And that attaching works a couple of different ways. Number one, I can simply click Eric Johnson's email address right here. This is going to open Outlook. It'll populate the to field with Eric's email address, and then I can type in a subject and a message, just like you always do in Outlook. When you send that email, it goes through Outlook just like it always does. Nothing really changes there. But after it leaves Outlook, Outlook then tells ACT that email was sent, and it goes ahead and attaches that email here automatically onto Eric's record with the date and time stamp, the contents of the email, and which user actually sent that. Now this email attaching also works right out of Outlook. I don't have to be in ACT to make that happen. I can actually launch Outlook, create a new email to Eric Johnson just like you do every day, and when I send that email will also attach onto Eric's record. Also, replying to emails will do the same thing. So if I get an incoming email from Eric and I reply to that in Outlook, that will automatically attach it onto Eric's record here in ACT. So essentially, you could just be working in Outlook all day, sending emails to people, replying to emails, and those emails will be automatically attaching to their prospective record in the background. So a lot of people love this. It's a lot easier for me to find emails here in ACT rather than trying to sort them out through my sent folder in Outlook. This was an opportunity change that someone made, a letter that was printed out. So just again, a lot of stuff automatically gets stored here in history. The Activities tab. This is a tab showing us the activities that are related to Eric Johnson. Now we have a global calendar as well that'll show you everything, but because I'm on Eric's record, everything I see here is just related to Eric. Creating an activity is a simple process and can happen a lot of different ways. I can click one of these big buttons up on the top to create an activity as a call or a meeting or a to-do, or I can go to the calendar to create an activity, or I can do it right here on Eric's record, which is how I prefer to do it. So creating an activity, I can schedule a call or a meeting or a to-do, or I can even create custom activity types for industry-specific activities or things like that. So scheduling a call, you'll get a window like this with everything you'd expect, start date and start times. It's already going to schedule it on Eric's record because I'm on his record. And now I can type in regarding, change resources, priorities. I can even change colors, maybe to make it a little more visible on the calendar. And I can have alarms ring. I can have pop-ups come on my screen to remind me 10 minutes before, 15 minutes a day before, however you want to set that to remind you that an activity is coming due. Details tab just allows you to type in some free-form notes, maybe to remind you what you're going to be calling them about with some other details. You can also set recurring activities, just kind of like you can in Outlook. And you also have the ability in ACT Premium to see other people's calendars on your team. So if I'm scheduling this maybe with one of my colleagues, or if I'm scheduling this on behalf of one of my colleagues, I'll be able to see their calendar here and make sure that they're going to be free at the time that I want to schedule this. So again, history is really everything in the past that's happened on the record, and activities usually is everything in the future, or maybe just some stuff I haven't quite gotten to yet, like this one. And you do have the option of setting rollover activities too. So if I didn't get to this one on the 31st, it would roll over to the 1st on the next day. Opportunities. This is a very powerful feature. Not everybody uses this, but it can be very powerful to allow you to create a pipeline and start tracking sales. You know, if you're selling a widget or selling a service or anything, this is a great thing to use to allow you to, like I said, create pipelines and do full reporting on sales opportunities of an entire sales team. So just by looking at this tab, we can tell Eric has purchased a couple of items because these are marked closed won, so I know we won these deals. Here's an item that we did not win. Looks like there's an open opportunity as well. So I'm just going to dive into this opportunity. I'm going to double click on this and show you some of the details of creating and using opportunities. All right, so this is the opportunity that I clicked on. You can see it's linked to Eric Johnson and looks like his company as well. Here's the name of the opportunity, and then some very important information you want to keep track of. So this is the status. This is, you know, we're still working this opportunity because it's open. The close date, very important, estimated close date. This is for tracking and pipeline reporting, so you can see when deals are coming due, look into the future, get forecasting, and just a lot of other information. This section right here under processes and stages, these are your specific industry sales stages. So every company, every industry has a little bit of a different sales process. You know, sometimes you can call someone up on the phone, buy something, it takes 5 minutes. That's not much of a sales process. But there are other companies who, you know, maybe takes them a year to sell something, or it's things like that. So this is fully customizable here. The ability to create your own sales processes and sales stages that your reps will move through as you're trying to sell somebody a product or a service. This is all customizable as well, this screen. You know, you do have the ability to go in here and create other opportunity fields to track other opportunity information if you want. You also have the ability of creating your own product lists in here. So when you're adding a product or a service to an opportunity, you'll get a window like this. You have the option to actually import a list of your products. So if you have a spreadsheet with your product names and descriptions and costs and all that information, you can import that in here. So when you or your reps are creating these opportunities, you'll get a drop down of all of your products, which then you can just simply choose. It'll automatically populate the cost and the price and everything like that. You can change quantities, obviously, to update subtotals. Or you can enter that information manually. A lot of people don't import their product lists, and they just simply type in all that information, the name and how much it costs and all that information. So once you've created all this and you've put in the name and the estimated close date and what stage you're in and that it's open, then you can start working these opportunities and tracking them and get reporting on all of the opportunities in the database based on a lot of different filters, users and dates and just to get a lot of very important information. And I'll get into some reporting a little bit later to show you a little bit more about this. All right, let's go back to Eric Johnson's record. So I'm just going to click this hyperlink here. You'll see this a lot of times in ACT where it's underlined. It's a little bit of a different color that tells you that it's going to take you to another area in ACT. In this case, if I click here, it'll take me back to Eric Johnson's contact screen, or his contact record, rather. All right, moving on. Documents tab. Self-explanatory, attach any type of file that you want here. And it doesn't have to be a document, it could be anything. Here's a picture, here's a PowerPoint, here's a text file. Any type of document can be attached here and then viewed by other people that have access to this record. So let me actually talk about access to this record while we're on this. So ACT has a lot of security built in. This tab right here that I'm showing you, this Contact Access tab, this is kind of like an administration tab. This shows you a lot of important information. When this record was created, which user on your team created this record, when it was edited, who edited it last. It's got this record manager field here. These are all of your users. Again, if you're sharing common databases together, all of your employees, all your colleagues will be listed here. So this is a good field to use maybe if you want to delegate one of your reps to manage Eric Johnson's account. This would be a good place to do that. And then it's got these access levels here. This is kind of what I was getting at. So public means all of my users here will have access to this record. It's not locked down. Everyone can get in and see it. Private means only the record manager now can see this account. No one else can, not even administrators. So this is really good just for, family, spouses, stuff like that. And then there's limited access. This is an additional security feature that allows you to define which users on the team can see this record, or in essence, who cannot see this record. So let's say I set it up maybe like this. So now, Greg, Chris, and anyone with manager level security all have access to this record, and no one else does. So when Betty Browser logs into this database, she does a search on Eric Johnson. She's not going to find this record. She won't know that this record exists. So that's good for a lot of reasons. Sales teams like to use this to hide accounts from each other, but an administrator or managers can get in and see everything. A lot of different reasons why you may or may not want to use this. And now this limited access feature is also available at field level. And that means that maybe this account's public. Maybe it's okay that all my users can see this record. But maybe I've got a social security number field somewhere that I don't want people to see. I can actually set this up field level so everyone can get in and see this record, but maybe I've got I will allow 4 people to be able to see the social security number field but not edit it, and then 6 people can't see it at all, and then I've got 1 person on my team that actually can edit that social security number field. So that limited access security is available at field level as well. All right, back to this. Documents, groups and companies. This is a tab that's just showing us what groups and companies Eric Johnson belongs to. And I'll get into groups and companies here in a moment. It's just kind of an at-a-glance data here. Secondary contacts. This is just a line of data right here. In this case, Jim is Eric Johnson's help desk support guy. Jim does not have a record in ACT like Eric does. He doesn't have all this. He just has this line of data here that you can refer to at any time. And you can add as many secondary contacts to every record as you like. These secondary contacts can be better defined as a small Rolodex you can store under any contact that helps you work with that contact. These people can be like the primary contact's real estate agent, lawyer, accountant, or anyone else you may need to connect with in connection with this primary contact. It's important to know that you can store an unlimited number of them under any contact. Now, secondary contacts do not support notes, history, activities, or any of the other features of regular contacts, but they can be promoted to full contacts with a single click of the mouse if the need arises. The Relationships tab, this is very similar to secondary contacts, but this actually allows you to link records back and forth. Let me actually just create a link here. This Relationships tab feature can be understood in this way. Normally, the details of a contact in ACT defines how we relate to that contact. The relationship feature, on the other hand, defines not how we relate to the contacts, but how 2 contacts in the database relate to each other. This allows you to add an accountant, for instance, and link all the accountant's customers in your database. All right, so now George is linked to this account. And that just allows me a simple bridge to jump back and forth between records. So maybe I'm talking to Eric one day and he asks me if I sent that email to George, and George has that document. So now I can just click here and that'll take us directly to George's record in ACT, and now I can look up the data I want to. See if there's a document here I'm looking for, or look in the history to see if an email ever went out to George, and then easily I can jump back to Eric Johnson's record right here. And you can add as many relationship links to every record as you like as well. All right, these next 2 tabs, these are web browsers built into a tab that will do automatic lookups over the web based on some contact data in the top half of the screen here. So as you can see, I've clicked Facebook, and it's already gone out to facebook.com and did a search on whatever data is in the contact field, in this case Eric Johnson. So now I can go find Eric Johnson's Facebook page and look at his social updates. LinkedIn does the same thing. Plaxo does contact searches, all that stuff. Weather is going to go out to weather.com and do a search on the zip code field right here. So now I can, easily find what the weather's like in this zip code. Again, this is a web page embedded into a tab. Google Maps. You probably figured this out already. This is going to go out to maps.google.com, do the default search at that web page, and then pull all of the data out of these address fields. This is actually not a real address, so that's why it's not finding it. But if I did have a real address in there, it would get us right to it. Again, quick way to look up information without having to leave ACT and pull up a web browser. Google driving directions is here also. A GPS in your car will tell you how long the drive to a customer will be, but the Web Info tab will let you know when to get into your car. Now this is configurable as well, meaning that maybe you have an industry-specific website that you go to a lot to do lookups on people or their address or their social security number or whatever information you've got in ACT here. So you can add those URLs. You can kind of see how Facebook works. It goes out to facebook.com, does their default search, and it pulls data out of this contact field here to do that search. Maps, same kind of thing. You can see how it's pulling data out of ACT on all these address fields to do the search at this URL. So again, you can add your own URLs here. You could probably sit up nights thinking of different ways to use this. I know I sure have. Now this does a search every time. So if I click back on Facebook, you can see how it did that search again. So that might not always be helpful. Especially if there's lots of Eric Johnsons on Facebook or LinkedIn. But that's what this Social Updates tab is for. This allows you to bookmark Eric Johnson's Facebook or LinkedIn page. I'm not logged in right now, so it's not doing that. But the first time I come here, it's going to do this search. I can then find Eric Johnson's correct Facebook page. And then I can simply click Remember This Page right here. So next time I come back to Eric Johnson's record and go to the Social Updates tab, it'll take me directly to Eric's Facebook page or LinkedIn page without having to do that search every time. So that can be pretty handy as well. All right, moving on. Personal information. Self-explanatory. It's personal information about Eric, maybe home addresses and birthdays, spouse names. We also have, as you can see, picture fields too. And again, this is all highly customizable. I can move all this stuff around. I can add other fields into this screen or any of these tabs and, again, customize this to fit my business and get the most important things on the screen related to what I'm trying to do in my business. Contact access, we talked about this. This has those security features and things like that. User fields, these are just a bunch of blank fields in ACT. If you want to start populating data in here without creating a new field, you can certainly do that in these fields. And then there's the timeline tab. So this tab is aggregating data or pulling in data from notes, history, activities, and opportunities and putting it all in one place on this timeline tab. So from here, I can just choose the date range that I want. Select the date range that I want to find the data in, and all that data will show up just like this in these icons. This is an activity on the calendar. This is a field change, a history of a field change. This is an activity as a to-do. I can hover over these items to see a little bit about it. I can double click on it to actually bring up the activity or the note or the opportunity. So this kind of just makes a quick way to find data in a date range instead of having to sort through all the data in these four tabs here. All right, so that's all the basic things people do on the contact screen here. Changing data, going to these records, sending emails, creating activities on the calendar, updating opportunities, attaching documents, all of that stuff I just mentioned, all done right here on this contact screen. Very simple to use, very easy to understand. Now I want to talk a little bit about this navigation bar here on the left. These are some of the other areas that you will use, and this is really the best way to navigate around these different areas that you want to use. Let's start with this welcome screen. This is probably one of the, thing that you're going to want to use a lot. This screen has a lot of help You have video tutorials here. It takes you to dozens of videos, feature tours on how to use all these basic features in ACT. So that's all built in. Also, the ACT knowledge base. There are thousands and thousands of documents in this knowledge base that will also teach you how to do things or work through issues you may be experiencing with ACT. This knowledge base has been around for almost 30 years, so you can imagine how useful this can be. Also, our ACT community is here. This is another place where you can connect with other ACT users to get answers to your questions. The manufacturer of ACT also chimes in here on the community to give helpful answers as well. So make this welcome screen your best friend. It's a great place to go to get help and resources and find answers that you need. All right, let's go into groups here. This is one of my favorite features in ACT, groups. This is a place where you can lump together different types of contacts based on some similar criteria. Let me kind of show you how this works. So here are all of my customers. Now you can create as many groups as you want with whatever types of names you want. Contacts can be added to these groups manually or automatically. So these groups can be self-sustaining based on some criteria. Let me show you what I mean here. So I'm on my customers group. You can see I have 67 customers in my database. And how does ACT know that? Because I've created a rule right here that states if this field on a contact record contains this word, customer, then put them in this group. And that's automatic. This is a sticky rule, so this is always here. So now, from now on, anytime I go to a customer record and mark them as a customer on this field, they will automatically show up in this group. Alternatively, if I remove this data from this field, that person will automatically be removed from this group. And I can show you that real quick. I'm just going to click on Andy. This will take us to Andy Harrison's record in ACT, and we can see he's marked as a customer. So if I take this away, maybe Andy is no longer a customer of mine. I want to take him away. I don't want to make him a customer anymore. Now when I go back to my groups, we'll see that Andy is automatically gone. And it works the other way. So I go back to Andy's record and I mark Andy as a customer. And this field is editable, by the way. This is a great field to use to flag people as different types of customers. It's a multi-select field, so I can have him as a customer or contractor or whatever other data you want to enter in here as a drop-down. So now I've remarked Andy as a customer. I can go back to that group, and there he is. So now I can send a targeted communication to all of my customers. I can create whatever types of groups I want. I could have a group of people that live in Arizona and have this rule state, if on a contact record the state field contains, I don't know, New York or NY, automatically add those people to this record, or to this group rather. So that's a great place to be able to, again, lump together different types of contacts based on some similar criteria. I don't know anyone who would not want to use this. It's extremely helpful, especially with sending emails out and doing email blasts. All right, now as you can see, a group is just really a group name with a description of who belongs in this group. And that's really all there is to it. Company records are very similar. However, let me click on companies here. This will take us to company records. These are true, full company records. As you can see here, it's got more information. The company name, their address, their website, phone number, what type of company it is, and again, customizable as well. I can create new fields on this company record to track other company information. But the beauty of company records is the ability of having all of these contacts linked to this company. All of their data rolls up together under these tabs. So here are all of the notes linked to all of those contacts. Here's all the sales opportunities linked to all those contacts or the company record itself, and so on. All the documents linked to all those people that are linked to this company. So instead of having to go through every person one at a time to see what's happening at a company level, I can get that view right here. A lot of people use this in a lot of different ways, but the way I just described is really the most efficient way to be using this. All right, moving on, calendar. This is the global shared calendar view. All right, so this is everything you'd expect from a calendar view with the ability of sorting, looking up a daily view, work week view, weekly views, monthly views, with the ability of sorting and filtering by different types of activities or priorities or even users. So let me take a look at this. So right now I have all of my users who share this database with me selected. And that's why I'm saying all of this information. These are everybody's calendar information. But maybe I just want to see my own. Maybe I don't care about what other people's, calendars are showing for the day. So I'm just going to select my own, or you can select a couple people and refilter. Wow, I got not much to do this month, do I? So from here I can hover over items to get a little detail about it. I can double click on it to pull up the activity, maybe see some other details, edit it as I need to, move it around, change the dates, all that kind of stuff. I can even schedule activities from right here if I want to, just like I showed you earlier, right on the calendar. So again, there's a lot of different ways to do the same thing in ACT. And that's a great tool. That allows you really to suit it to your own needs and find your own flow of what's going to work best for you. Another an example of that is this view right here. Personally, I don't use this view. I don't like it. Other people love it. It's because of what they're used to. Personally, I like my task list right here. This is the next section on the left navigation bar here. This task list is the exact same thing as the calendar. It's all the same data. It's just in a different view. So this is how I prefer to do my day. I come to my task list. Let me get everyone's tasks in here. So I just filtered that to show all of my users' tasks. So here's how I do my day. I come to my task list. I don't go to my calendar. I go to my task list. That's personal preference. I select myself because I don't really care about what everyone else's tasks are for the day. Or maybe as a manager, I may want to see a couple people's tasks. But I'm just going to sort myself, see what my tasks are. And that's it. I needed to call Eric on the 8th, so that's coming up. But if I did have anything from today, this is how I would manage my calendar. I pull up my task list, I sort them by date with this column, and then I simply click on Eric's name to go to his record, go to the Activity tab, and here's that activity that I should be dealing with. So I'll go ahead and call Eric, see if he got the extras set up. And then after I'm done with this, I will clear this activity off the calendar because I'm done with it. So I would click this little button right here. This brings open the clear activity window. I can now type in, talked to Eric, or whatever we talked about after I made the call. He has hired the extras. And that's it. So I'm done with this activity. When I click OK, this is going to clear it off of the calendar because I don't want it there anymore. I'm done with this. So I click OK. You can see that removed from activities, and it moved that data into history. So here it is. Now it can be reported on, and anyone can go into this record and see that I've actually talked to Eric on this date, and here's what we talked about. Simple to use, easy to understand. And then I go back to my task list, and I work on my next item that's in line here. In this case, I don't really have anything more. This is a dummy database I'm using, so sometimes the data gets stale. But that's why you're not really seeing any more activities for me. Moving on, history list. This is just it's a list of histories. Histories that are created. And you can sort and filter by date ranges and what types of histories you want to see. This was created for our users. Our users wanted the ability to be able to export histories to Excel. And this was really what allows them to do. So you can sort and filter what you want and then simply click this Export to Excel button to get all your histories into an Excel spreadsheet. Again, this is something our customers asked for and was added. Personally, I find the history list a useful reporting substitute for those managers that want quick visibility on an employee's complete activities or shots on net. A lot of people have challenges with reporting, but this provides a lot of insights into user activity just by filtering. All right, global opportunities. This is a type of report. So I'm actually going to get into the list view. Most of these screens do have detail view and list view. So detail view means I'm focused in on one specific item. List view will give me a global list of everything. So I'm going to click list view to get a global list of my opportunities. Some people call this a type of report because of its ability to export to Excel and have pivot tables created automatically that you can manipulate right inside of Excel. So based on this global view of my opportunities, based on these filters is what I'm seeing. So right now I'm getting a view of all of my open opportunities. I don't care what's closed. I want to see what we're working on for all dates by all of my users, and I want to see everything just in the 2 final stages of my sales process. Now I can certainly add other filters to maybe get all of my opportunities that are open here. Let's just refilter real quick. So this is showing me I have 179 opportunities in this database that are open by all of my users in all stages, totaling $2.6 million. Now I can sort and filter by these columns up here. I can even add other columns in here to see other information. And let me pare this down a little bit. I want to actually take these away because I know that any deals my team is working on that are in these 2 final stages of the sales process, these are going to close. So this could be considered a forecast. But of course, your stages and your situation may be a little bit different. Let me refilter. There we go. There's 12 of those opportunities in my database that are about to close. Here are my reps working on it, so I could consider this right here $85,000 of forecast for this month, because I know any deals in these stages, they're going to close. Now I can push this out to Excel to create pivot tables and get very granular with reporting inside of Excel. All right, let's talk about reports a little bit more since we're on this. So there's a lot of ways to get reports out of ACT. Really anything going into ACT can be pulled back out with a report one way or another. So we have about 60 canned reports built in and a report designer. So if some of our reports don't suffice for what you're trying to get out of the database, you can generate your own reports, create your own reports with your own fields on it, get it the way you want it to look in these reports. So running reports is real simple. I'll run one of these just to kind of show you what they look like. Managers tend to like these activities and notes and history reports, but there's everything else. Opportunity reports, sales by users, and pipeline reports, and a lot of other opportunity reports as well. I'm just going to run this activity report. This will let us see what my reps are scheduling on the calendar. So I clicked activities. The first thing it asks you to do is define some filters for our report. There's a lot of different outputs for our reports. You can preview it, you can send it to a printer or to an email or make a PDF out of it. I'm just going to preview it for this example. I want to run this report on all of my contacts in my database just to see what my reps are scheduling and by all of my users. And let's say I only want to see the call types that are being scheduled on the calendar. I don't care about anything else. Maybe I require them to schedule 10 calls a day or something like that. So I just want to look at the call types, and I'm going to choose all dates just so I get a good data set, but you can choose different date ranges. And that's it. I've defined my filter. I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and this will generate that report based on my filters. Okay, and now you can see those generating those pages, so 7 pages of this report. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So here's my call type of activity report. This is the user in ACT that the call was scheduled on. I'm sorry, this is the contact in ACT. This is the user who actually was logged in and scheduled that call, and in all the details of that call. And then of course you can scroll through these pages, you can print it out from here, save it to your desktop or save it to your computer from here as well. And again, this is just the vanilla report in ACT. Again, this is editable as well. You can go in and change these reports to fit your needs and get the stuff on the screen the way you want to see it. We also have visual reports. We have dashboards here. And again, this is graphical forms of activities and histories and sales opportunities. So here you can create as many dashboards as you like, put as many modules on the screen as you like. I've got 6 modules on this screen, and this can be filtered on the fly. So let's take a look at this. Activities by user. So I'm looking at all of the activities that were scheduled by all of my users for the current month. And this can be changed on the fly, and this will edit as you change these filters. Now I can hover over this. It's interactive as well. I can see Allison's to-dos scheduled 17. Allison's scheduled 25 meetings. Allison's scheduled 22 call types. Betty, probably should have a chat with Betty today after work. Find out what she's been up to. But this is a great place just to get a real quick at a glance, maybe first thing a manager does in the morning, comes in and looks at this to see what happened yesterday or for the previous month or whatever ranges that you're setting in these filters. This dashboard screen, along with many other screens, could be configured to be your home screen when you launch ACT. Also, ACT Insight. This is one of the new features of version 20. So as you can see by clicking on the arrows over here, allows you to access easy-to-use controls that keeps things simple but gives you powerful insight into key business reports at a glance. Let's take a look at sales metrics. Okay, here's forecasted sales by product. So if I select this one, I can actually now add more filters to view other products I may have, add other screens, do a lot of different things. So this is just another way to get very quick visual reporting right inside of ACT. All right, ACT e-marketing. This is true email marketing built inside of ACT. This does not use Outlook. This does not use Google or anything like that. This allows you to create email campaigns right inside of ACT. Now this service is all managed by Swiftpage, the manufacturer of ACT. So any emails and email campaigns that you send here go through Swiftpage's server because they are an email marketing company. That way, all of the emails that you're sending out then can be tracked back inside of ACT to see who's opening your emails, who's clicking on links. Now the emails look like they're coming from you, so you get all the replies and everything, but this is all embedded right inside of ACT. This new feature in version 20 allows you to do everything right inside of ACT. Create email campaigns, create email templates with a very simple to use drag and drop interface where you can pull in your own colors and your own borders and fonts and pictures and documents and everything and make very eye-catching, eye-popping email campaigns that are responsive on mobile devices as well. So there's really a lot to this product. I could spend an hour on this alone. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of let you know what's in here. Swiftpage actually does a demo on this, I think, every Wednesday. So you may want to go to swiftpage.com and get a full demonstration on Swiftpage, or I should say ACT e-marketing. And I've put the URL to register for one of those demos right there on the screen for you. All built right inside of the ACT interface now. Really cool. All right, ACT Connect. This is the future. This is really where ACT is headed and a lot of other applications on the web are headed. This allows you to connect with hundreds of popular business apps. It really can extend the power and the reach of ACT. There are over 750 different applications now that can connect with ACT, talk over the internet, and send information back and forth. Here's an example, Shopify. A lot of people have a Shopify account, which allows them to sell their products on a storefront on the web. So now ACT and Shopify can communicate with ACT Connect. This is called our web API. You're probably going to hear more about that word API coming out in the future here, and this is what it's all about. So you can set up a connection between Shopify and ACT now. So maybe someone goes to your Shopify store, purchases a product on Shopify. Shopify then can notify ACT, send that data into ACT, create a contact in the background automatically, bring over their order history, and then maybe schedule an activity for you in ACT to remind you to go call that person. They just purchased something. And that's all automated, that's all in the background, and again, there are over 750 applications that can now connect to ACT and send data back and forth between ACT and those applications. Then there's universal search. This is like a Google search inside of ACT, basically. Type in a search term that you're looking for here. If you don't know where it is, it'll search the entire database, including attachments. So if you're attaching PDFs or if you're attaching spreadsheets into ACT, this search can actually look inside those documents and find what you're looking for and then display it on the screen here. Where it found it. Lets you jump right to the contacts where it found your search or go right to the document, everything from right here. Again, kind of like a needle in the haystack type of search. If you don't know where something is, this is a great place to look for it. It's also important to know that this universal search is different from regular keyword searches in ACT. Universal search here uses services that search the entire database and can take up some more resources. Universal search is also the foundation for ACT Premium mobile searching as well over the web. So it's important to know that. If you know what you're looking for, don't use universal search, use a regular keyword search. Alright, so that's everything that our customers use to manage their databases on a day-to-day basis. And I've only been able to show you about 10% of what this product can do. There's thousands of other features in here that can fit lots of other industries and lots of other businesses. I really haven't showed you ACT for Web. I'd love to do that real quick and just kind of show you what the interface looks like if you're using ACT Cloud, which is very similar to what I'm doing right here. It's almost identical actually. Let me connect to ACT for Web. Alright, so as you can see, I'm in a web browser. I'm using Internet Explorer, and I'm just going to connect to this database here. Log in, and this can be done obviously anywhere in the world. It's got a internet connection and web browser if you're using ACT Cloud. And again, Keystroke provides ACT hosting services and is the exclusive hosting provider for Canada. Get in touch with us if you have interest in having the ability of accessing your data over the web with mobile devices and PCs and Macs with web browsers and internet connections. All right, so this is the web interface. As you can see again, I'm in Internet Explorer, and this looks almost identical to what I've been showing you. All the same features here, everything that you want, all the tabs down here. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time in here. I just kind of wanted to let you know this is available and does allow you to access your database in a very familiar format that you're probably already used to. I talked earlier about the ability to mold ACT to your business. Keystroke provides services to companies just like yours to edit layouts with your industry-specific fields and needs. And here's just a few examples of custom interfaces that we can create for you. Keystroke provides many other ACT services to fit your needs, from hosting your ACT data to programming ACT to dance. Services that Keystroke provides include ACT sales, support, customization and optimization, hosting, training and consulting, development, scripting and custom table deployments, conversions, importing and exporting, and database repair, industry integrated solutions, and ACT e-marketing. Also, Keystroke's unique suite of ACT for Work add-ons can extend the power of ACT and the possibilities of what ACT can do for you. So see Keystroke's add-on page for all of our powerful add-ons for ACT. Also, be on the lookout for custom tables for ACT in the very near future. Developed by Keystroke Quality Computing, Tables for ACT allows users to easily create tables right inside of ACT. That brings us to the end of this presentation. I hope you found it insightful and has energized you to see what you're missing and how ACT can help you succeed in growing and streamlining your business. Call us or visit our website you see here to learn more. And I hope you have a great rest of your day today.